burning in a one-room bar. Rain on a window, city feeling far. Your ghost in the corner, sipping cheap regret. I gave you my heart, you ain't done with it yet. These low-light blues keep calling my name, soft as a whisper, sharp like pain. I tried to run, I tried to choose, but the night keeps singing these low-light blues. Your shadow dances when the jukebox cries. Truth hits harder when the day lies. Every promise folded in smoke and sound. Love's just a record that keeps spinning round. In low-light blues, slow and deep, sing me awake, don't let me sleep. I paid my dues, I broke the rules, still walk alone with these low-light blues. When the bass breathes low and the piano sighs, I feel my strength between the lines. A woman learns how pain can move, turning lonely nights into rhythm and truth. Oh, low-light blues, hear me through. I lost my fear when I lost you. From cracked red lips to worn-out shoes, I found my voice in these low-light blues. Low-light blues faded out slow. I woke up this morning with that low-down blues. Moonlight in my mirror, baby, I got nothing to lose. Your love like whiskey burned me deep inside. That old heart's a raging, but I still won't hide. Oh, I'm bad girl blues, can't tie me down. Your sweet talking lies, honey, don't mean a thing. I've danced with trouble, I've heard the angels sing. My soul like smoke drifting through that ballroom light. I ain't your savior, I'm the queen of the night. When the horn blows low and the bass starts swinging, I find my rhythm, I keep on singing. Your shadow on my heels won't slow me down. I'm the blues that haunt this whole damn town. Yeah, I'm bad girl blues through every fight, standing tall in shadows of neon light. Oh, heartbreak's a teacher, pain and pride. When you lose yourself, that's when you really shine.
Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good. And there's something deep inside of me I got to be. And if you find it hard to follow me, if I lose you in my jet stream, then you only got to raise your eyes and see me fly. Don't tell me that I won't, I can't. Don't tell me that I'm not, I am. Don't tell me that my master plan ain't coming through. Do you tell me that I won't, 'cause I will. Don't tell me how to think, 'cause I feel. And yes, I know what's real and what I can do. Something that you won't see every day. A little girl who found her way through a world that's designed to break on loving your dreams. And if there's one thing I would say to you, is that there's nothing that you can't do. And yes, it's all about your attitude. Don't let them get to you. Do you tell me that I won't, I can't. Don't tell me that I'm not, I am. Don't tell me that my master plan ain't coming through. Now do you tell me that I won't, I will. Don't tell me how to think, 'cause I feel. And yes, I know what's real and what I can do. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, hey. Oh, do you tell me nothing? No. And we're singing in our own voice. We can make that choice to be free. Yes, we're singing in our own voice. We can make that choice to be free now, to be free now. Don't tell me that I won't, 'cause I can't.
Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why. It'll never do somehow. Oh, when your rooster crows out the break of dawn, look out your window and oh, I'll be gone. Oh, and you're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. The light I never knowed. Oh, now it ain't no use in turning on your light. I'm on the dark side of the road. Oh, now I'm thinking and wondering, walking down the road. Oh, I once loved a man, a child, I am told. Oh, I gave him my heart, but it wanted my soul. Now don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use in calling out my name, boy, like you never done before. Oh, now it ain't no use in calling out my name now. I can't hear anymore. Oh, I wish there was something you might do or say. Oh, to try and make me change my mind and stay. Oh, but we never did too much talking anyway. Now don't think twice, it's alright. So long, honey, baby. Where I'm bound, I can't tell. Oh, my goodbye's too good a word now. So I'll just say farewell. And I ain't saying that you treated me unkind. Oh, you could have done better below. I shall adore mine. Oh, you just kind of wasted all my precious time. Now don't think twice, it's alright. Oh, you just kind of wasted all my precious time. Don't think twice, it's llega la noche, yo recuerdo tu cara y en las olas del mar siento tu voz y en la luz de esta luna es tu piel que me roza y esta brisa azul trae tu corazón más cerca de mí. And the wings of this breeze are soon will sing me to you. Su cara y en las olas del mar yo siento tu voz y la luz de esta luna es tu piel que me roza y este brisa azul trae tu corazón más cerca de mí. Esta brisa azul trae tu corazón más cerca de mí. starts falling, shadows on my skin. That old jukebox crying, let the trouble in. Your name tastes bitter, like cheap red wine. I gave you my heart, you wasted my time. I got those midnight woman blues, high heels worn, but I still choose to walk alone through neon lights with a broken heart and hungry eyes. You said forever with a crooked grin, but your love was trouble wrapped in sin. I learned my lesson in a smoke-filled room. Some men promise roses, then bring the gloom. Yeah, these midnight woman blues, a slow burn soul, nothing to lose. If loving hurts, I'll pay the dues, still standing tall with these blues. When the bass rolls low and the piano moans, I feel alive in my shattered bones. A woman sings what she's been through. Pain turns gold when the rhythm's true. Oh, midnight woman blues, hear my cry, love too deep. But I won't deny this voice was born from truth and scars. I ain't yours, I belong to the stars. Yeah, midnight woman blues fade out slow, let the sorrow cruise. Midnight woman blues, midnight woman blues, midnight woman low light burning in a one-room bar. Rain on the window, city feeling far. Your ghost in the corner, sipping cheap regret. I gave you my heart, you ain't done with it yet. These low-light blues keep calling my name, soft as a whisper, sharp like pain. I try to run, I try to choose, but the night keeps singing these low-light blues. Your shadow dances when the jukebox cries. Truth hits harder when the daylight lies. Every promise folded in smoke and sound. Love's just a record that keeps spinning round. Yeah, low-line blues, slow and deep. Sing me awake, don't let me sleep. I paid my dues, I broke the rules, still walk alone with these low-line blues. When the bass breathes low and the piano sighs, I feel my strength between the lines. A woman learns how pain can move, turning lonely nights into rhythm and truth. Low-line blues, hear me through. I lost my fear when I lost you. From cracked red lips to worn out shoes, I found my voice in these low-light blues. Low-light blues, faded out slow.
Yeah. You better come on in my kitchen, yeah, 'cause it's going to be raining outdoors. Ooh, the woman I love, yeah, I stole her from my best friend. Some joker got lucky, yeah, stole her back again. Yeah. You better come on in my kitchen, hey, 'cause it's going to be raining outdoors. Ooh, the woman I love, yeah, I stole her from my best friend. That joker got lucky, yeah, and stole her back again. Hey, you better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's going to be raining outdoors. You better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's going to be raining outdoors. Ooh.
Midnight's falling, shadows on my skin. That old jukebox crying, let the trouble in. Your name tastes bitter, like cheap red wine. I gave you my heart, you wasted my time. I got those midnight woman blues. High heels are worn, but I still choose to walk alone through neon lights with a broken heart and hungry eyes. You said forever with a crooked grin, but your love was trouble wrapped in sin. I learned my lesson in a smoke-filled room. Some men promise roses, then bring the gloom. Yeah, these midnight woman blues, a slow burn soul, nothing to lose. If loving hurts, I'll pay the dues. Still standing tall with these blues. When the bass rolls low and the piano moans, I feel alive in my shattered bones. A woman sings what she's been through. Pain turns gold when the rhythm's true. Midnight woman blues, hear my cry. Love too deep, but I won't deny. This voice was born from truth and stars. I ain't yours, I belong to the stars. Yeah, midnight woman blue, fade out slow, let the sorrow cruise.
Had dinner with him last
The
night.
grey man. Oh, were you?
Basher.
Oh, Basher.
He's fantastic.
What a fine man. A fine musician.
They've got a picture of him on the wall of this VH1 studio in Camden Road where we were, and he looked like a lemur, like, because he's just had really light blue eyes, and just the photograph looked like he was holding a guitar, and he just looked like one of those exotic Madagascar lemurs that only come out at night. It was just great.
I used to run a little venue in the north of England, which was an old wooden pavilion that was been knocked down now. And we booked this band one night, and they pulled. So the agent said, well, I've got this other band called Brinsley Swartz. Do you want them to come?
Yeah.
So we said, OK. So they turned up, and it was just brilliant. They went down a storm, and it was a really, really good gig. It was just amazing. Very, very good. Are we rolling?
He's
OK.
one of a kind,
Oh,
really. One
right.
of those people that you're just so glad he's around.
Paul Carrick as well. Great guy. Well, Bonnie.
We're still here with our same jobs.
I knew you were going to
It's
say
a miracle, isn't it?
that. A live album. And about time too.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Not from lack of wanting.
Really? So why now?
A couple of reasons. I've been being besieged by people over the years that say, your live shows really capture you, and if only you could get one out, you'd really come across. And I was all ready to do one because of, Little Feat years ago had that great Waiting for Columbus album, and it really broke through and captured them in a way that the studio ones, although those were great too. And I just have been waiting and waiting. But the situation with Warner Brothers, where I was for the first 9 albums up until 82, I was with Warner's, and I wanted to do the live record after my 8th record, and it just they didn't really feel, and neither did I, that the promotion for it went well, to put it mildly. I'm trying to be polite. And radio really stopped playing any kind of progressive format, so it was I was basically shunted off into the hinterlands of fringe music. And even though I was selling well in my concerts and my core audience bought my albums, it wasn't the right label situation to put out a live record, because they didn't care enough, frankly. So it took me a while of waiting to get on a new label, and then God knows, after the Grammys hit, things have been really great with EMI Capitol, and I wanted 3 studio records under my belt to draw from great songs that people would be familiar with. And I've been basically planning to have this lineup of guests for a long time now, and finally I've got the great band that can play the songs as well as the ones that play in the studio, because most of them are the ones that are on the records.
Indeed. I can't believe that these friends just happened to be around. There must have been a lot of phone calls going out to get all these guests on this album.
Well, you've got to plan, because people's schedules are way in advance. I mean, I know what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now almost. So everyone's booked, and everybody's got their own album schedules. And Jackson said, I'm going to be recording, but it's if you can film and record in California, I bet you I can fly up for the day. Hornsby had already made room in his schedule for me. And this was planned in March in order to secure the mobile truck. The concert venues go on sale, at least a couple of months before. And, of course, the film crew, we had 9 35-millimeter camera, film for 2 days. So, that's almost $1 million type of proposition just for the film alone to film the 2 nights. And so, yes, it had to be way planned and approved and paid for in advance.
But I must admit, the sound of the album is one of the best live recordings I've ever heard.
Oh, fantastic. And I'll tell our engineer that, because he worked his you-know-what off trying to make it. Because I'm not a big connoisseur of live albums. I mean, I listen to James Taylor's and Peter Gabriel's, and of course, Little Feats I play a lot, and I have some live Westwood One radio programs that I've listened to and gotten copies of live performances where I've missed someone's tour. But I really wasn't an audiophile enough to know that it turns out, I found out from doing interviews, that most live albums get listened to once and put on the shelf. So Ed said, he really wanted to go for, making this the best live-sounding record he's ever heard. And he studied a lot of them about how much echo in the room echo to leave in, and how much clapping between songs, and how much talking. Where there was a lot of deliberation that went in. And, of course, each song is from sometimes a totally different night in a totally different hall. So there's a lot of post-production work that went into this.
And it works so well. A couple of things. Vince Gill has described you as the wildest lady he knows.
All right, Vince.
What do you think about that?
I think he's the guy all of us would love to get wild with, actually. He's the nicest star. Well, actually, Brian and Bruce and Jackson, my special guests, are pretty nice, too, in the unneurotic field. You know what I'm saying? That people that are just folks when you meet them. I don't know if that was your impression, but I know that Vince and I, over the years, I mean, when he was in Pure Prairie League and I was still on Warner's, we ran into each other, and we actually did a duet together when he was first a solo act. We did a song called Let's Do Something Even If It's Wrong. And he and I were both kind of wild. I don't mean that in a biblical sense. I just mean, wild rockers. We didn't get into this line of work because we like to go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Well, you don't start till late anyway, do you? It's not late.
You know what? I get up early when I'm off the road. I like the daytime hours, because if you're not up partying at night, there's really no reason to be up past midnight unless you just get into one of those great moments when you can write and you're reflective and everybody else is asleep. But I've started to really like the early morning dawn hours.
In London, when there's nobody else around, it's very good. I was in New York last year, and we drove out of the city we just drove out for about an hour at about 6, 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Nothing in New York. Very strange feeling.
I
very,
bet it was
very
bizarre.
strange.
I bet.
Very, very weird. Do you think marriage has given you a different outlook on life? Have you calmed down or not? Or do Michael and you have a sort of a thing,
I don't think marriage has much to do with the calming down. I think just getting older, from your 20s to your 30s, there's a certain calming down. And I don't know about your life, but most of the rockers I know, and by rockers I mean not such as a musical categorization as in party as much as you want and can get away with kind of a thing. Like I would never jeopardize my job or walk around stumbling. And, I never was one of those kind of visibly out of it kind of a person where people would comment on it. It was more like a private thing after the show. But lifestyle changes in your 30s are necessary if you want to keep, your wits, your memory, your looks, and your health, not to mention the most important, which is your music. So even though I never jeopardized my job, I think my effectiveness, how many hours of the day I was able to be productive, was starting to get affected by my extracurricular activities. So my calming down that way happened in my mid-30s when I kind of quit drinking and took up yoga and bike riding and doing all those things with the ravages of time, so that you end up feeling more energetic and more able to do your gig and have more fun, because it just isn't fun to feel bad, you know. I mean, I know some people make a career out of it, but the feeling bad is for the young. And marriage has just been, it's a challenge, and it's very adventurous, and it's exciting to know that somebody's not going anywhere when you have a big row, but it's also comforting to know that there's a level of commitment that makes the rough times more doable, and that makes the sweet times very, very deep. And, you know, the learning about each other and learning about yourself. Stuff comes up in marriage that didn't come up when you're living together with other, you know, I didn't live with Michael until we got married. And you repeat patterns in your parents' marriage, whether you wanted to or not. And I found that to be a very big surprise, because it didn't happen before until you get married. I think you hear those words coming out of your mouth and you go, there she is. There's that mom thing again.
Bruce Hornsby appears on two very different songs on this album. Very much Thing Called Love and I Can't Make You Love Me. He's not only a great musician, but a really nice guy. And these two songs not only show the diversity of your talents, but also his as well. Was that why you asked him to play on those two songs?
You know, it was one of those things where on the tour we did together last year, we did a 4-month double bill of the Outdoor Sheds when my new album was out. And it's quite obvious that I just think the world of him. I mean, and he made such a difference on I Can't Make You Love Me. And then he invited me to play on and sing on his last record before this current one. Then we did the tour together, and as an encore, he came out and played the accordion, and he's a great practical joker, so it was a way to keep him off the monitor man's back, where he would probably have given me nothing but hi-hat in the monitors and messed with my sound on stage. So I kept him out of trouble by having him on stage, and, you know, he's my favorite singer and writer, I think. It's just, you know, Prine and Jackson Browne and him, that's it, and Paul Brady. I Can't Make You Love Me, I can't even imagine recording live without him on it. So he was very gracious, and I just got to participate in his PBS special and got to play with Pat Metheny, the three of us on stage alone, singing The Tide Will Rise. And it was just absolutely a highlight of, you know, my respect for those men is just unbounded. And his musicianship is far surpassing anybody in the pop world that I know. You know, he's really as nice a person as he is a genius, too.
Whenever I bump into him, it's like, you know, and it's like he sits down and he talks to you and he takes time. Mm-hmm. It's never, so I've got to rush now. He's just one of those guys. And I thought his current album was very, very good.
I do, too. I mean, he's really a jewel, you know, and such a normal guy, just like Don was. And it's interesting because I've gotten to know Brian the last few days more because we've been hanging out at the Top of the Pops. And he also is totally without any kind of ego attitude. And, you know, he's not neurotic and paranoid or any of those stuck-up things that people get when they get to be a big shot. And I'm so lucky to have these guys as models because they've been famous longer than me. You know, Hornsby came out of the box with big hits, and he's just nonplussed, totally regular guy.
That's why you get on so well, because you're the same. You've got the same attitude, and that's why, and it shows. I reckon this record's great to listen to when driving. I mean, I've been driving around listening to this. I think it's brilliant.
God, I'm so glad. You know, it's so new that I haven't had reviews yet. So this is it.
Give it to a friend. So go and drive around, listen to it, and it's great. A song on it, Shake a Little. New song to you.
New song by the guy Michael Ruff, who wrote "Cry on My Shoulder" on Nick of Time, and. I listen to so many tapes of things where people have a cover letter that says, this is so perfect for you, we've had you in mind, and then it's just dreck. So I appreciate the thought, but, you know, I don't know whether to throw a bucket of water on them the next time I see them or just never answer their phone call. And then there's these jewels like Michael Ruff, who's a brilliant artist on his own and has never gotten the attention he deserves. And I think he's actually got quite a good career in Sweden going on for some reason. But he had 2 great records on Warner Brothers years ago, and the women are all mad for him because he's absolutely gorgeous. But what an unbelievable tune. I'm glad you mentioned it because I love it.
I think it made a good single, actually. I was listening to it.
I think so,
would make
too.
a good single. Make a good single. Matters of the Heart is haunting. I mean, that's one where I think you mentioned this capturing the audience. You could hear a pin drop in that auditorium. They're all there as one, I think. I mean,
And hadn't heard the song before, too. So that was really
which is
great.
like, oh.
Yeah.
And, I mean, did you feel that was a special performance that night with them?
Exactly. That was why we picked that night's performance. I mean, all the great part about recording 6 nights is that we really got the best performance of each one. It was hard to choose sometimes, but there was always one that had that pathos and a unity of, you know, whether it was a spontaneity or just not thinking about it. Everybody forgot about the tape, and the audience, for whatever, it's almost like a great meal or making love. You know, there's just that one evening where it's that you're doing the same thing with your lover that you've always done, but it's just fitting and feeling perfect. And that this track has got a soulfulness to it, kind of a Ray Charles thing that, you know, Michael McDonald is an incredible writer and singer. So the fact that to wrap myself around one of his songs like this is, you know, you're as good as your material, and like I Can't Make You Love Me, this is one of those classic songs.
I think what's nice about this record as well is it's not Bonnie Raitt's greatest hits live, which I'm so pleased about. It's a real, it's almost it's a comment and it's a reflection. Was that purposeful, the way you selected the songs?
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear you say that. This is terrific that it's coming across, even in its shortened one-disc version of the 2-hour concert. I mean, we were actually surprised, Don and I, when we had to narrow this down, that this played as well, and we almost like this order better than the ones with the extra 4 songs on it. I had no intention of doing a greatest hits, because why would somebody want to buy it? Well, I suppose they would want to have all those so-called hits on one record, but why not try letting the songs go out the way they've evolved over the last few years? I mean, Love Me Like a Man, I recorded in 1972, and the guitar solo is never going to be the same twice. And certainly Have a Heart and Love Letter and different songs from Nick of Time, you know, all of these songs have taken on their own character depending on the tour that we play them. Each tour, everything gets a little shifted by the band members, you know, because just to keep it interesting, but also they just grow. Tempos are changed, you know. Have a Heart has a kind of a South African guitar part on it, and that's partly because I've got one of the greatest guitarists as a foil now, George Marinelli, who used to play with Bruce Hornsby. So I wanted to add something different to the older songs and give people, we got 6 new songs, so it's a little bit of everything.
I think so. Charles and Ruth, I'm pleased they're on there. I get the impression the way you were together, there's a real mutual respect amongst the 3 of you guys.
Oh, total. And I mean, of all the people that are on a stage at once, everybody has admiration so deep that, you know, I hope it comes through, and I'm glad to hear you say that it can be felt, because Ruth Brown single-handedly was such an influence on Etta James and Aretha Franklin and all the people that I grew up listening to when I was old enough to read about their influences. They were the ones that mentioned Ruth, because I, of course, was only, 1 year old when her first record came out. But she's built Atlantic Records with her singles in the late 40s and 50s, as did Charles Brown, who's no relation, by the way. He's from a totally different part of the country. But he also was seminal in starting the whole West Coast blues sound, the transition between the post-war jazz era, and he took his Texas very funky roots. He also was classically trained, and he melded them into the style of jazz with the Art Tatum flavor and the beautiful classical music, to where Nat King Cole became famous based on the music that Charles Brown was doing. And, of course, Ray Charles is a direct descendant, although he doesn't credit Charles, and has never turned around and really helped him, nor have Chuck Berry and some of the other people that really grew up idolizing him. And I always felt it was strange that the great rhythm and blues artists and the white artists of today, who owe such an incredible debt to these pioneers, would not only not put them on the show, or at least throw some money towards the organization out of which they can get some health insurance, since they didn't get any royalties. Because this is the biggest criminal revelation I found out in the last 6 years, is that nobody before 1970 did get royalty participation. And we've just now gotten to the 4th large company to only now, 6 years after the organization was founded, to agree to pay a 10% royalty starting today, for example, as opposed to 30 or 40 years of lost royalties and 10 years of CD sales with no money coming, no health insurance. You know, every other industry has health insurance and takes care of their own, except ours. So this is a call out to the other artists that are listening and fans to make sure you support the reissues that are paying royalties, and don't buy the bootlegs, and don't sell the records direct. You know, send the money directly to the artist, believe me, before you rip them off for the third time.
Absolutely. That's the Rhythm and Blues Foundation as well we're talking about.
Yeah.
Good to see blues on this. A fine tribute to Mississippi Fragment Down. And I remember one night in the middle of winter going to Lancaster University, which is like in the middle of nowhere, because a friend of mine rang me up and said, "We've got to go and see this guy playing." I said, "What's it?" He said, "Mississippi Fragment Down." I said, "OK, we'll go." Went along, there was 8 people there. But the guy putting it on loved him, and it was obvious. The guy running the gig said, "Look, I spent my money on this, and just come and enjoy yourself."
Isn't that the greatest? Because Fred, I'm telling you, was the most exuberant blues man. You know, they always say, oh, they're so full of pain and grief. I mean, Fred loved to play more than anybody I ever saw, and they're just re-releasing I Do Not Play No Rock and Roll, one of the greatest double albums, and I think it was recorded here in London. I'm not sure if that was the one, or maybe there was just that in concert where he's wearing this Mexican poncho over a bright yellow sharkskin suit with a bolo, string tie, just unbelievable getup, and loved the girls used to just flock around him, these little white American and English girls just bat their eyes at him, and he loved it so much. Just like John Lee Hooker is just rolling around enjoying his success now, Fred was like that, and one of the greatest Delta bluesmen that ever lived.
I mean, you say on there, you think these songs get better with age. Do you think your work gets better with age?
I sure hope so. I mean, don't you think you're better at your job now? You got more seasoning and humor and perspective and knowledge. I mean, I always think people, as they get older, if they're lucky enough to keep their wits about them and don't get too cranky and discouraged, that people's wisdom and opinion at 70, 80, 90 years old they're like gems, If you're smarter now at 45 than I was at 25, why won't I be even smarter at 65? So I hope that my music is richer and deeper and more accomplished. And I never saw B.B. King or John Reid or Pablo Casals or Segovia get any less with age. They just got more.
Absolutely. You're always introduced, which I do like, as Bonnie Raitt and her band, including Hutch and Ricky now. I mean, they're part of the furniture. Hutch, how long has he been around?
He's a long time. He's has the distinction of being one of the only white guys ever play in the Neville Brothers, although they've had a white guitarist for a while. He is so respected by every type of musician. He played in Central America, lived there for a while. The New Orleans cats think he's just it. He lived in San Francisco, was in a band called Copperhead. He knows Celtic music inside and out and can play jazz, Algerian music. I mean, there's nothing the guy can't play. And if you ask him a question, he can give you every detail of every side musician. So he's like a walking encyclopedia.
These are sort of nice guys to have around, I think, to contribute to what you're doing.
Oh, I'm so lucky and this is the best benefit of success, is that while Hutch has been with me for over 10 years, at whatever salary level I was at, he was with me during the rough years in the 80s too, rough meaning couldn't pay very much. Ricky, who has been a successful producer living in Australia, doing film scores and, just co-produced the Boz Scaggs album. And, for those of you, Ricky Fattar from South Africa, he was in a young band called The Flame that was quite famous and was in the Beach Boys for a while. I'm able to afford musicians of the level that I've got now, and that is probably that and raising really great amounts of attention and money for political causes that really need the bucks. Those are the two most incredible aspects of my success that have made the biggest difference, that and good catering, backstage, to actually eat food that hasn't been sitting there for 4 hours. But to be able to play with Ricky and Hutch and have them leave home and come and play with me it's like a dream come true to every night have these guys. And that's why this record was done now. That's why I say in the liner notes, this was the time and you are the reason.
Absolutely. Jackson Browne had to be here, really. I mean, there aren't
Definitely.
many stages that you and him haven't shared over the years. Mostly benefits as well, actually. But, I mean, to do Opening Farewell is just a bit special, I think.
And, we didn't know what we were going to do. I was going to cut this wonderful reggae tune that he did on his last record called I Hear Your Heart Beating Everywhere. I love that song. And I thought we could have a duet, kind of a, We Be 40 kind of a thing. I don't know. And we tried it in my key, and it just didn't sound as good as his. So I said, well, maybe we should send the band off to the wings and just sit here and play Opening Farewell. And it was just done. He came and never had a chance to rehearse it. He never had sung it in that key, never sung a harmony part. And all of a sudden, we're filming and recording it for the history, and he was really a champ. I can barely look at him because I love him so much, and he's so gorgeous and never changes. But yeah, I said that he had to be on the live record because he knows too much about me, and I'm afraid he's going to talk.
He knows where the body's buried.
Well, I know where his skeletons are buried too.
There's an argument that drink and drugs have added to some of the finest music and literature, and also that all the great artists have got to be a shade crazy. I mean, eccentric, crazy, call it what you will. What do you think about that?
Totally agree. It's true that some of the greatest works of literature that are currently recognized and studied by even the religious right as great works of art. I mean, Hemingway, all the great works of the 20th century, certainly that whole revolution in the 20s, people were faced. I don't know what the expression is over here, but pissed or whatever. There are a lot of that whining and writing about your mother and tortured. A lot of that stuff, when you know about addiction, you know where that mentality is coming from. Well, that's what makes great artists torture. And artists torture themselves. And the myth is that you can't be, quote, funky or as deep or as soulful or as funny if you're not sort of loaded or hungover, is blown by the fact that John Hyatt and Stevie Ray Vaughan and some of the greatest artists of our time are still kicking, sober. So, and I'm here to tell you from that song that's on this record, and I don't know if it made this cut. Did Feeling of Falling get? I think that's the one we did leave on. I'm not. Yeah, because I want to let people know that just because you're straight doesn't mean you're not totally miserable and twisted sometimes, and it's out of that angst and misery and longing, which is just part of being alive, which you feel more acutely when you're not anesthetized, that some of the most powerful stuff has come out of my guitar, because it's excruciating to be awake. So it's just a different kind of art. If anybody thinks I'm not miserable, look again, and sometimes it's a lot easier to just toss a few back and forget about it, It's trying to be awake all the time that'll get you some good blues tunes.
Most definitely. The old tortured theory goes out the window there. And there's this song with Bryan Adams. I mean, what's the story behind this? Did you call him or did he call you? Or
if someone was to say to me, okay, you got a new album coming up, and, you've been on the road with Longing in Their Hearts, and you have this ballad here, and you found this Michael Ruff song, but you know what I'm really missing as a rocker? I just wish somebody that I really love would call me up. And it was like the universe answered my prayer, and I get this phone call from Brian, who I haven't heard from for a few years, and he says, I wrote you this song with this woman, Gretchen Peterson. I hope you like it. It's on the way. I listened to it. It's like tailor-made, great lyrics, a tried and true topic, but set in a very clever way. You need a rock, not a Rolling Stone. Simple, straight-ahead rocker. And then on top of it, his album was postponed, so as we got closer to the live recording, I went, it would be really great, as if he could sing this with me. And he did. He said, I'm coming. I just can't believe it. It's like for all the blues people that I helped and all the obscure songwriters I've done songs and talked about over the years, to have somebody like him who is really huge over here in Europe, where I can't get arrested really. And, for him, he'll be doing for me what I'm doing for Ruth and Charles. So without any compromise, and just pure admiration and love, and just love the guy's work so much, and I love him. And here I am getting to have this handed to me, like Eric and Elton saying, hey, you want to be more known in Europe? We love you. Come on to the Wembley show. that's the payback, is that it all goes around in a big circle, and then I get more well-known, and I can bring Charles Brown over to Europe. So that's the way it works,
Oh, that'd be very pleasant, actually. Very nice indeed. There's 3 songs that run together. There's Longing in Their Hearts, Love Sneaking Up on You, and Talking Heads, a storming version of that.
All right.
Were they the same night? Because they just run together.
I think they are the same night, actually. But they were pretty slamming all. Sometimes we do Come to Me in the Middle, which we didn't have room for on the record, but again, you can get it on import probably. I always thought of doing Burning Down the House since I first got the idea. I've always wanted to cut the song, but I had no idea whether we would do it on this record or whatever. I didn't know if it would make the record. It was just one of those sound check into the last encore of the night. And, by the time you're at the encore point, your fans are so nuts. You can basically play Rachmaninoff's symphonies and get away with it with a reggae beat. But I love Talking Heads. I love this song. Always heard it with slide guitar. And it's very similar in the clavinet part to Love Sneaking Up on You. So I had them as a segue, like half of Burning Down the House into Love Sneaking Up on You. And about 3 gigs into the tour, all the reviews were mentioning, and the audience was jumping up and standing. They were mentioning Burning Down the House. So Don suggested, he said, hey, why don't you just finish the song and flip the order and stick it on there and we'll put it on the record. And I said, no, nobody's going to go for that. And hey, I like it.
Listen, it works really, really well. Kim Wilson guests on the album as well. When the Fabulous Thunderbirds are one of the best kept secrets in Europe, like yourself.
Well, that's why I plan to change it. I mean, I'm really glad that by doing a record with Delbert on Luck of the Draw, that 5 million people have that album and now know who Delbert McClinton are, as if anybody's been asleep in a closet and doesn't know. The other great white singer of rhythm and blues is Kim Wilson, and one of the greatest living harmonica players. And Kim and I have been talking about doing this song and performing it together for years, since they first wrote it on a record tastefully entitled Butt Rockin', which I'd love to hear him explain that to his folks. Oh, son, what's the name of your new album? Well, Mom, we decided to call it, So if I can get Kim more exposure in parts in the, for the moment that I'm in the sun here, and just let people know how brilliant this guy is, I'll be able to die happy, because he is just incredible.
You know what? Listening to this record, I do have a problem, because I'm not now going to be able to say to people, you mean you don't know who Bonnie Raitt is? This is causing me a bit of disturbance here, because it looks like the single's going to work, and if the album works, you've knackered a lot of the things that you know who Bonnie Raitt is, and they go, who's that lady who sang that song?
See, I'm enjoying coming over here and still being a cult artist, and that, now I'm getting all letters from the people in the States going, you were mine for 20 years, and now I really resent the fact that everybody knows who you are, and they're playing you in the supermarkets. But I wrote the guy back. I said, hey, 20 years in small theaters, can't you cut me some slack? I get to have Ricky Fataar in the band and Hutch. Let me have a moment in the sun here. And while these rhythm and blues artists are still around, and while Kim deserves to be heard, let me show the rest of America about these guys. And I feel the same way about Europe. But if I'm a cult artist over here for a while longer, it would just be very nostalgic for me.
I think so. It was a joy last time to walk into the Palace Theatre in Manchester and see it sold out.
Wasn't that exciting?
Joy.
I'm inching my way to notoriety over here. And, I'm really thrilled that this record, that you think it's great, because I'm so proud of it. I mean, it took me a long time to get these songs together, and I took a lot of care in the mixing of it and the choosing of them. And I think if you're coming into me new, that you'll be able to get a good glimpse of what it was like before and some of the blues stuff. And, I don't think anybody should be determined by their latest single. So, I'm not a singles artist. So if you've never heard of me and you hear the Bryan Adams track and you like it, check out the rest of it, because there's a lot of good people on there that deserve to be heard while they're still able to play.
I think so. I think how anyone cannot be moved by Jackson Browne's version of Stay, I will never know.
And I just sang on his new record. It's just fantastic.
Oh, there's a bit of to and froing, because you're on John Hyatt's record as well.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's how it works. We all love each other, and, I'm so thrilled that they want me to come and play and sing on their record. There's a great band out of New Orleans called the Subdudes, and I'm on their new record, and that's a fantastic record.
Support act on the tour, actually.
Oh, it'd be.
Oh,
that's
if you got there early, they
That's
were.
right. They were over here in England. It's true.
That's right with you. How's the songwriting going? I mean, we've been
Haven't
progressing. We've had like 3, 4. You know, we're getting there.
I'm inching up there in the quantity, but I basically one of the reasons I'm taking a hiatus is because I haven't stopped working either on the Rhythm and Blues Foundation or the different benefits that I've done and organized. My own touring schedule, making up for all these years I didn't tour outside the United States. I haven't had any time to write, so it's time to go live a little bit so I've got something to write about. Because honestly, I mean, writing about the catering in my room in the hotel is not going to make it for a topic. And getting any more personal than I did on the last record would be a challenge because I'm just going to have to figure out and take a break so that it's done from inspiration and not out of obligation.
Mm. So does this mean that, I mean, I know because you're not a winter person, so come sort of spring, are you going to be treading these shores?
I'm hoping to have the first break from touring in 25 years after this live record. I mean, I was doing this now, and I did a record with my dad, and it's out on Angel Records with a 42-piece orchestra. We did 3 songs together. It was just great fun. And I feel like I've done my bit with Charles and Ruth and Kim and done my major opus here, and it's time to take some time for me because if you don't fill up and take some time off, there really isn't anything else to say. And I honestly don't think I'm going to be touring this next year unless for some ungodly reason or perhaps truly godly reason this record with Brian and this record takes off in Europe, and then I'll be a brand new artist and come over and show people where it's really at.
A brand new artist again?
Yeah.
Again.
Well, you know, I'm an overnight success, Robin, you know that.
There's a description that I read I'd like your comments on, really. After years of singing about broken hearts, faithless lovers and no good men, Bonnie Raitt entered the 90s at the peak of her already lengthy and impressive career. Has the 90s been good to you, do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think you could argue with the kind of Cinderella story that happened to me when I well, just a lot of changes were made personally before the Grammys happened, but I think your 40s, while, like as I was mentioning before, it's a little harder to be older and awake. It's also easier and more fun to be wiser. You know, does that make sense? It's easier because I know how to do things better, and I know how to handle stuff. I can handle my success. I can handle disappointments. I don't mind getting angry. I know that it's not going to last for 5 days. I'm just getting angry. So the process of growing up is happening now as it is for a lot of rockers because it's just sort of a postponed adolescence sometimes until your 30s and 40s, and then that's when people settle down. So I've had a really great last 5 years, and I'm looking forward to another 25 and another couple of live records in the middle of those.
Absolutely. Bonnie Raitt, thank you very much indeed.
Nice to be back. Hi, this is Bonnie Raitt. Very happy to be with Robin Ross on your radio. I want to go to
Dave,
Scotland.
If we send him a tape, right, he'll do a 2-hour special.
Wow.
He's like a big supporter, isn't he? These guys are just, you know.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for the homeland, for the young girl who's found her way back to your shores any minute now. I'm threatening to show up for Hogmanay again.
Again?
Oh,
well, tell people
God.
this time, will you?
See, I'm the only one that remembered what happened those 3 days. The entire country was out of their minds.
But the studio was.
I'm coming back with a video camera because nobody in America believed it. You know, well, they had some sort of sponsorship. They had little bottles of booze on the table, and there was like 65-year-old people just totally clapping and yahooing it up, which is a little glimpse of what, like, a Crosby, Stills and Nash audience is going to be like in 20 years. You know, will be a bunch of old geezers singing, you know, just a song before you go.
But they'll still be all applauding.
And Sheena will be singing Morning Train, and me and Brady will be out there on walkers singing Thing Called Love.
Yeah, I found another Brady Buncher. Curtis Stigers is a Brady Buncher.
Yes, he is.
Curtis Stigers is a Brady Buncher. I found somebody else as well.
You know, guess who cut Paradise is Here? Cher. Heard it from Brady's lips today. I'm not kidding. That'd be great. Let's find it right now.
Really? So it must be this new album because she's done the Mark Cohn Walking in Memphis. That's the single. So it'll be on the same album.
Well, it's good. I'm glad that she's going to get them some wider attention, you know? Brady's record was great, wasn't it?
Mr. Cummings won't know what's hitting. He won't know what to do.
I know.
He's great. I ring him up.
I really wanted to do that song too, but Tina had already done it.
I think that Cher track's coming out for Christmas as a Christmas single.
Paradise is Here? Well, that's good. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know
Good.
who produced her, but I hope it's great. My engineer's producing Anne Murray's new record, which should be great.
All right.
Yeah, she's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
When I call you up. Remember when she
She would
did
do an
that?
acoustic, would she? She should have done. She wouldn't do an acoustic for us. She's doing one now.
Hello, hello, hello. I'll come in here and do one.
Yeah. We had John Hyatt. John Hyatt did 2 songs.
Did he?
Yeah, John did 2 songs. Finn did 2 songs, did they not? Which is Neil and Tim
Well,
Finn.
they just told me to come and talk.
They did Weather With You, and they did
Nobody
Angels
asked
Weep.
me.
We'll ask you. Anywhere, anytime. You know
Hey,
we
you
like
know.
it. You could play the national anthem and we'd listen to. You know that. So,
I'd play your national anthem.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. It'd be good.
We
Be
good.
good.
So you're going to Scotland on this break? You're going to try.
I want to. I was threatening to go to Ireland or Scotland over the weekend, but I'd like to come back when the days are longer, because it's too hard to come over here and have it get dark at 4.
Yeah.
Not if you're unless you
Especially over that.
you know what I mean. If your
you get
nighttime
over the
hours
West
can be
Coast.
more productive, but I want to be able to see stuff. You know.
Yeah. You were going to go around Ireland. Last time I spoke to you, you were going to
I
visit
did
Ireland.
it once a long time ago, and I want to do it again. I may do it over the weekend.
Just get down the country and see part of it.
Well, I did get a whole week in
did you?
there. I did get a week in Scotland, a week in Ireland back in '91, right after the Grammys. Randy Newman's on Jules Holland on Tuesday night. You should get him in here.
I'd love to. With Warner's, you see, Warner's a bit strange. So my best man when I got married is head of promotion at Warner's, and he won't let me do any interviews. He said, I leave it to the regional people. I said, but we're getting like 50
Randy's
stations.
great.
I know.
I mean, Faust is a great record.
Lovely man. When's Bonnie
Call
Raitt on
Peter
later?
Asher and tell him I told him that he should do it.
Excuse
Tell
me?
him who you talked to. Tell him all
Yeah,
the people
well,
you
we-
talked to and how many stations
We're
you
going to
get.
start. Yeah, well, we
Just call him
got you
directly.
on. Did we get 50 last time?
Peter and Gordon. Tell him you're a Peter Gordon fan and call Peter Asher.
Remember Peter and Gordon? I actually
That's
went
Peter
to see
Asher.
Peter.
He's
I said,
Randy's-
"No."
he's
Well, he used
Randy's
to manage
manager.
10,000 Maniacs as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He manages Little Feat. And now he's head of Sony, I think. That's right, I forgot. He got a new job. My former manager is head of Atlantic, then head of Warner's, now he's head of Mercury.
Moving
Hello.
around.
We're gonna fire you. Here's $30 million. Get out of here. Oh God.
Now you can pay the musicians.
Here's another label. Oh,
Could you sign that for me, please?
Are you kidding?
Thank you. I've got
great.
I've got a shiny one because you haven't got shiny pens, have you?
Can I have that on tape, please?
You haven't got any
Robin
tape.
Ross has a shiny one.
You haven't
Thank you. Could you sign it for me?
Woke up this morning with that low down blues. Moonlight in my mirror, baby. I got nothing to lose. Your love, like a whiskey, burn me deep inside. That old heart's a raging, but I still won't hide. Oh, I'm bad girl blues, can't tie me down. Strutting these streets like I own this town. Got sorrow in my shoes, fire in my heart. Might break you once, but I'll never fall apart. Your sweet talking lies, honey, don't mean a thing. I've danced with trouble, I've heard the angels sing. My soul like smoke drifting through that barroom light. I ain't your savior, I'm the queen of the night. When the horn blows low and the bass starts swinging, I find my rhythm, I keep on singing. Your shadow on my heels won't slow me down. I'm the blues that haunt this whole damn town. Yeah, I'm bad girl blues. Through every fight Shine